Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Green Impact Partners channel, strategically positioned to lead the transition to a green and sustainable economy. Joining us, as always, CEO Jesse Douglas. Welcome back, sir.
Great to see you, Kyle.
Always a pleasure, man. So this time around, I really want to kind of discuss as we're hitting the beginning of the year here, and there's a lot of expectation around what you guys are doing in 2022, trying to create some value. I mean, if you want to touch base first and foremost on what you see kind of coming into this year. I know we discussed some of the New Year's resolutions leading into the end of last year, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on this year, and let's dive into maybe some of the technologies, because you guys are really heavily evolving the RNG sector into a new kind of carbon-free future. Do you want to just talk about the technologies there and more of the value creation side of the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2022 is a big year for us. Certainly, we've got a lot of projects that are coming into play that are be producing energy now for the first time, and a lot more that are getting to that FID state, and a lot of value creation through that. We do have the ability to sell portions or all of these projects if we want at FID. We're a build own operator, so we won't be, but certainly that's the best way for us to fund some of our growth, and the valuations on those things are immense right now, and we see a ton of great interest there. And it's because we do have great technology that we're working with, right? I mean, anything that decomposes can create RNG, and it's a matter of selecting the best technologies that work through it. So we work with some Canadian and US and European suppliers to create a technology stack that is a little different depending on what the waste stream is on every project, and not necessarily always the same technology providers in it. But that's our secret sauce, is how we're using that technology stack and getting more out of it and capturing more methane from seeping into the environment, which makes the project immensely more valuable. And that's why we see project returns from the 20 to 35+% range, is because our secret sauce is getting more out of it.
Now, you touched on something that I think is brilliant here, because I think people are largely unaware. You guys are literally turning waste into gold. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the clients and just some of the people that you're working with, just for newer investors to get a better idea of how you're kind of taking that waste, turning it into methane? Because we kind of get the idea of the technology, but who are you partnering with here to get that material, and where is that source material coming from?
So yeah, I mean, what we see a lot of our peers, regular municipal landfills and working through it. And so we've taken a much different approach in that we're working with kind of the food production industry and farming effectively. And so we're taking animal byproduct and waste into it, where we can take almost anything into those ones, and it's pretty consistent and produces a great amount of gas, and certainly a low hanging fruit as far as decarbonizing different meat and dairy industries. And then we also take kind of the grain and wheat chaff, right? So you end up with a lot of waste that comes off of our regular grain foods and things like that, and we can take that. And so that's where we can actually get a lot of scale. It's an available product. We're not having to compete for kind of restaurant scraps and things like that. We know what we can get, and we can get millions and millions of tons of it, and that's what allows us to do it at scale. And that's the big difference, I think, between us than anybody else that's doing RNG in the world right now, is that we're doing it at scale. With projects 5 times bigger than anybody's even proposed to date.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate the severity of that, because when we hear about kind of carbon emitting sectors of the market, we always think of autos, farming, cattle, and things of that nature. So it's really intriguing to see you guys kind of driving into that impacted sector and trying to make a big difference in it. I think it's really definitely intriguing, especially when you're talking about the margins that you guys are going to be able to potentially pull off here and scale up as this year kind of evolves. So let's just kind of hit the hammer on the head. The elephant in the room, per se, obviously this pandemic, this virus that's going around. We're getting this resurgence, which again is hopefully the last hurrah, and we can kind of get through this herd immunity thing into the year. But is this affecting your business? How are you guys seeing this from the internal perspective, and just what should investors know?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we hope that nobody's getting sick from this, and the death rates are not going up. But from a business perspective, we've been, mostly from an environmental impact perspective, we've been fairly remote. We minimize our office space, and we minimize our interactions that way. We do a lot of things virtually. We're going to have to delay some of our events and the things that keep us together, because we aren't in an office together all the time. But from a supply perspective, we've managed to continue to secure all of our supplies and engineering needs, and our projects that are under construction, and the sites that are working now aren't seeing any disruption like that today, and we don't expect it. So like you say, let's hope this is the last hurrah. Right now, we are not seeing a meaningful effect from COVID on our business, and we're not forecasting that we will.
That's awesome. On that note, Jesse, I really appreciate your time today. And again, if you guys ever have any questions, always let us know what you think in that comment section below. This is a very intriguing sector, and Jesse's giving us the privilege to give us some in-depth insights, and maybe we'll do an investor Q&A. So definitely let us know your thoughts. Consider subscribing for future updates. And on that note, stay cool, stay awesome, Jesse, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Have a good one, Gal.